Have you ever looked at someone and thought, wow, they have it all? They're so talented, so admired, and everything just seems to come easy for them. It's a feeling we've all had, right? This kind of jealousy can be a powerful thing, and it's at the heart of a very old story I want to share with you today. It's a tale about a magnificent falcon and a very, very jealous crow. Imagine a vast, open sky. Soaring high above is our falcon, a true master of the air. With sharp eyes and powerful wings, he was the king of the skies. When he decided to hunt, it was like watching poetry in motion. He'd circle high above, a tiny speck against the blue, and then, in the blink of an eye, he'd dive. A streamlined arrow of feathers in focus, plummeting towards the earth at incredible speeds. His target, maybe a swift hare dashing through the fields, wouldn't even know what was happening until it was too late. With unmatched precision, the falcon would snatch his prey and ascend just as quickly, his victory cry echoing across the landscape. Down below, on the branch of an old gnarled tree, sat a crow. This crow watched the falcon's every move, day in and day out, but he wasn't watching with admiration. Oh no. He was watching with a heart full of bitter envy. He'd mutter to himself, "Look at him. So arrogant, showing off his speed and strength. Why does everyone praise him? What makes him so special?" The crow saw the other animals look up in awe at the falcon. He heard the whispers of respect, and with every compliment the falcon received, the crow's jealousy grew darker and heavier, like a storm cloud brewing inside him. The crow couldn't see the years of practice, the countless failed dives, the sheer effort the falcon put into honing his skills. He didn't see the discipline it took to become the best. All the crow saw was the effortless success, the final glorious moment of the catch. And he started to believe a dangerous idea. He thought, I can do that. It can't be that hard. I'm a bird. He's a bird. We both have wings. I'm just as good as he is. This thought took root in his mind and began to grow, twisting his perception of reality. He convinced himself that the only difference between him and the falcon was opportunity and a little bit of luck. One sunny afternoon, the crow's jealousy reached its boiling point. He watched the falcon perform another breathtaking dive, catching a plump partridge. The crow couldn't stand it anymore. "That's it," he squawked, ruffling his black feathers in agitation. "I'm going to show everyone that I'm just as capable as that feathered show-off. I'll catch something even bigger, something that will make them all forget about the falcon." His eyes scanned the meadow below, and they locked onto a target. It wasn't a hare or a partridge. It was a huge, sturdy ram, peacefully grazing with its flock. The ram was massive, with a thick coat of wool and large, curling horns. It was easily 10 times the crow's size. In his envy-fueled delusion, the crow saw this as the perfect opportunity. He thought, if I can carry off a ram, no one will ever doubt my strength again. They will sing songs about me, the mighty crow. He didn't stop to consider the absurdity of his plan. He didn't think about the ram's weight, its strength, or the simple physics of the situation. His mind was clouded by one single burning desire: to be better than the falcon, to steal his glory. He puffed out his chest, took a deep breath, and launched himself from the branch. He tried to imitate the falcon's majestic style. He flew high into the air, circling above the unsuspecting ram. He tried to focus his vision, just like he'd seen the falcon do. From his vantage point, the ram looked smaller, manageable. "Here I go," he cawed, and then he tucked his wings and began his dive. But the crow was not a falcon. His body wasn't built for speed. His wings weren't streamlined. Instead of a silent, deadly arrow, he was more like a clumsy, fluttering rock. He tumbled through the air, flapping awkwardly, trying to maintain control. The ram, hearing a strange flapping sound, looked up just as the crow came hurtling down. The crow aimed for the ram's back, intending to sink his talons in and lift it into the air. But his talons, so good for perching on branches, were no match for the ram's thick, oily wool. As he crashed onto the ram's back, instead of grabbing hold, his claws got hopelessly tangled in the dense fleece. He was stuck. The ram, startled and annoyed by this sudden, bizarre attack, barely even flinched. It was like a big fly had landed on it. The ram simply shook its body and then continued to graze, completely unfazed. The crow, however, was in a full-blown panic. He tugged and pulled, trying to free his feet, but the more he struggled, the more entangled he became. He flapped his wings wildly, squawking in desperation, but he was trapped. He couldn't get away. All his grand ambitions, all his jealousy, had led him to this ridiculous and humiliating predicament. Just then, a shepherd who had been watching his flock from a distance noticed the strange commotion. He saw the ram with a frantic black bird stuck to its back. Curious, he walked over. He saw the crow, flapping and screeching, utterly helpless. The shepherd let out a hearty laugh. It was the silliest thing he had seen all day. He carefully untangled the crow's feet from the wool, his hands gentle but firm. Once the crow was free, the shepherd didn't let him go. Instead, he clipped the crow's winged feathers just enough so he couldn't fly far, and decided to take him home as a little pet for his children. When the shepherd arrived home, his children ran out to greet him. "Father, what did you bring us?" They cried with excitement. The shepherd held up the dejected crow. "Look," he said with a grin, "I brought you a new pet." The children looked at the bird, confused. "What kind of bird is it?" One of them asked. The crow, full of shame, wished the ground would swallow him whole. And the shepherd replied, with a twinkle in his eye, "Well, if you ask him, he'll tell you he's a falcon. But as you can see, and as I know from experience, he's just a crow." And that's where our story ends. It's a simple tale, but it carries a powerful message, doesn't it? The crow's downfall wasn't a lack of ability. It was his blinding jealousy. He was so focused on what the falcon had that he completely lost sight of his own strengths, and more importantly, his own limitations. He tried to be something he wasn't, and it led to his capture and humiliation. This story is a timeless reminder that comparing ourselves to others is a dangerous game. Everyone has their own unique talents and their own path to walk. The falcon was a master of the dive. Perhaps the crow was a master of finding shiny objects or solving clever puzzles. But he'll never know, because he abandoned his own nature in a foolish attempt to copy someone else's. So, the next time you find yourself looking at someone else's life and feeling that sting of envy, remember the story of the falcon and the jealous crow. Celebrate your own unique skills, work on your own goals, and run your own race. True success and happiness don't come from imitating others, but from being the very best version of yourself. Thanks for watching today. I hope this story gave you something to think about. If you enjoyed it, please hit that like button and subscribe for more stories like this. Let me know in the comments what you think. Have you ever felt like the crow? We'd love to hear from you. See you in the next video.